Never been better. That is hard. Everybody, another edition of Box Seats. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying the day. It is what? Tuesday, right? Yep, it's Tuesday. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. I'm your host, Frank Holder. Let's get ready to bring him in. My man Talent is in the building. T, what's good? What's good?
Back at you, brother. Back at you. Today's my Monday.
Yeah, you get a long weekend. That's true. Let me bring in my man Fig. Fig, what's happening?
What the dealio?
That's my man Fig. My man Mike Sean is also in the building. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
What's up, people? What's going on?
Mike.
So we're gonna get ready to jump into this, man. I saw a story this morning. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't believe my eyes when I read it this morning, and I'm really anxious to see what you guys are gonna, respond and say. The first thing is that I read that jumped off the page to me, is Brett Favre has filed a motion to dismiss the Mississippi lawsuit that he got cold busted, and if we all remember, basically trying to help funnel a lot of that money from the state into his account where it was supposed to go into helping the welfare funding and went straight to his account. And he's filing a lawsuit. He's filing a suit to dismiss this. T, I don't know what else could be said about Brett Favre that we haven't already said. Talk to me, man. Tell me what you hear when you hear about Brett Favre filing a motion to dismiss.
Well, of course he is. You gotta save face. Here's the thing about the American justice system. When you file these things, they take forever to go transpire. So what he's looking to do is take some of the fuel off the fire, so to speak. So right now, while people hearts are heavy on it because it's fresh news, the longer it stays out in the news cycle, the weaker it becomes. Your emotions get weaker and weaker. And eventually people care less. So you drag it on. You file a motion, even if they was to hit him with something and he appealed and all that, that's just for time. Because as we all know, as time goes on, you know that phrase they say now, keep that same energy? It's impossible to keep that same energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear what you're saying on that one, T. Fig, what's your take on this, bro?
Brett Favre was known as a gunslinger. So basically, he told everybody that was bringing charges against him, I'll see you at noon. Meet me in the middle of the street at noon, and we gonna duel it out. Man, it's par for the course, man. Rich Caucasians in America have been afforded a lot of things that a lot of people that are of color are unaware of, and this is just some of the things that they do. Is I think we call it privilege.
Interesting take. Mike, Sean, what are you looking at when you hear Brett Favre trying to file a motion to dismiss this lawsuit?
What took them so long? Like this should have been something they should have had this in the works once this story broke on how to cover this up or whatever. Look, man, I don't know. You know, the media is a weird place. The reality show, the white people went to jail for 12 years. The Chrisleys or the Grizzlies, they did the IRS dirty. And the IRS said there's one place that white privilege doesn't work is when you owe us money. We don't give a damn if you white. But in Mississippi, when you Brett Favre, that name carries a lot of weight out there. And Mississippi, in my opinion, ain't even part of America. So things can go on in that court system that we'll never know about. I mean, and there's places out there where prisoners are actually picking cotton, literally picking cotton with officers riding horses. There's a whole different America out there. And, you know, the news media didn't want to do their part. They didn't want to do their due diligence. They didn't want to expose the situation the way they should have. So one hand washes the other. Not shocked. I'm surprised it took this long.
In other news, Deion Sanders made the news over the weekend, too, because he said that he's getting job offers right now, man. He got an offer from Colorado. And then he said yesterday afternoon, they're not the only one. People in the HBCUs clear across the country. The HBCUs are, for those of you who don't know what that term means, is historically black colleges and universities. They're sitting there a little bit concerned because he's brought so far millions of dollars to Jackson State University and still bringing a lot of money. So people really don't want to see him go. And we all know he's being offered a grip. I don't even know what the offer is, but the money's got to be offered a grip to go to Colorado. You know what I mean? It's got to be ridiculous. So people are concerned. But Deion has said ever since he's been at JSU, it ain't about the money. So what do you think? Do you think these offers are going to make him jump? Or what's your thoughts on this, T?
I don't think we got enough black people in Colorado for this to work out. If he's going to be the Superman of the, HBCUs, Colorado, I'm racking my brain. I don't know. I think that goes against everything that he started. He started something, and to dip out and go take a paycheck with someone else, then in the long run, we find out that it is about the money. Because if it's not about the money, if you're going to leave that school, all right, go to another HBCU and start that program up, get them riled up, get some money funneled in, some good players. And then in 2-3 years, if you want to go to Howard University, another one, do it. That's along the lines of what he's preached he was doing, and that we all been applauding him and giving him kudos for all this time. If you just leave and go to Colorado, I don't know, man. I've been to Colorado. I've been to Colorado Springs. I've been to Aspen. I've been to Denver. It was just me as far as black people. It was just me.
Right. I know.
Yeah, it was just me as far as Puerto Ricans.
I know it has been. But Fig, the concern is that he's going to go to a regular school because they're going to offer him a lot of things that he can't turn down. And people are being concerned that it's the money. Personally, in my opinion, I'm throwing it out there, I don't think he's doing any of this for the money. I think he's doing this to change, the HBCUs as a whole. I think he's trying to get a lot more former players to want to give back, and he's trend setting. That's what I think. What do you think, Fig? He said it's not the only offer he got from Colorado. He said he got a lot more other offers, and he probably did. What do you think, Fig?
I'm sure. Well, here's the one thing that we're glossing over: the fact that he's not only is he doing an excellent job on the football field. He's shaping the minds and of these young men and giving them a sense of purpose, whether they're going to the NFL or whether they're just going into regular life. He has a major impact on their lives, and he's bringing in millions of dollars. So, what school wouldn't want to hire a person who is going to bring in millions of dollars to your campus and your facilities? Everybody wants somebody like that. I mean, that's just the American way.
Right.
I hope that he doesn't leave and just goes to a regular school. Certainly not Colorado.
No,
I mean, you know, if somebody like if one of the big schools, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, one of the major programs offered him a ton of money, then I'd be like, he said that's something, I believe on an interview, he said that would be something he'd have to consider. But Colorado,
Mike, this is what he also did. He put butts in the stands at JSU. He got them a lot of money, but when he went there, the field was horrible. I saw a documentary on it. Everything else, the field was horrible. He came, the field was redone, and now there are people that they're selling out the games, which we all know. You know what I mean? You could make better offers to others following people because you now have money that you're working with at the facility. You know what I mean? You could bring in his players. But I'm going to leave this to you, Mike. You tell me what you think. He's trying to change the whole trajectory of the HBCUs because he's trying to get these black athletes to want to go to HBCUs versus them wanting to go to regular, predominantly, regular colleges. That's what you think, Mike.
I want to just pivot just a quick second. I want to point out that Keyshawn Johnson pissed me off so crazy on ESPN today. Keyshawn Johnson said, yes, Deion should take that job because then he'll give more opportunities. They'll show other colleges that a black man can be a head coach in big schools. So what you're saying is, let's leave a HBCU high and dry so that you can prove to other white people that you are capable of coaching at that level. See, this is the problem. We have to be validated by white people saying that we're good.
Thank you, Mike.
We have to be validated that we coach in your league. We have to be validated that we take that team, Colorado or anybody, Arkansas or Georgia Tech or Michigan State. If you take them, then you prove yourself as a coach. Then they had the audacity. This is the hypocrisy of watching ESPN. Then Jay Williams and Keyshawn start beefing about why Auburn didn't check for him and didn't give him an opportunity. So you're worried about Auburn. You're mad about Auburn not giving an opportunity, but you want to swipe somebody, a black man from a black university. You want to swipe that resource from them young men and give him over to Auburn because that's where the proof is in the pudding. That's where he proves everything. See, this is the mindset that has to change.
I didn't even see this.
Yes, it happened on Max, Keyshawn, Max, Jay, and Max, or whatever. It's innate. We're so brainwashed to have to prove we're only funny if we rip a white comedy show. Then we're comedians. Right. When we get to the mainstream, oh yeah, we know you did them black rooms. We know you did them Hispanic rooms and tore that down for years. But can you do a mainstream room? Which means, can you do a room that's basically the majority of white people? Mm-hmm. And it's the mindset that we got to get out of. And I hope and I pray. And if Deion takes the job, I won't criticize because I'm not cutting your checks. But I hope and pray that he stays there and continues to evolve and take these HBCUs where we see one of these black colleges in a Rose Bowl.
Well, ultimately, his end goal he's trying to do, he's trying to create a system whereas the head HBCU will go against the head regular school. That's his end goal that he's trying to get to. All right, so T, we're gonna keep this thing. Go ahead, Fig.
I just want to nominate Mike. We'd like to change his name over to Mike X.
As far as Colorado, let me say this real quick. As far as Colorado goes, you got to understand. I tell you, there's no HBCUs, period. And the most in Colorado Springs, they got two schools that roughly range between 19 and 20% of the student population being of color or any other ethnicity than white, and that's 19%. Now there is no HBCU. I mean, you better off going to Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, and all that to find a school before you get into college. So those are the numbers they don't have.
Right. All right. So last night in the NFL, Pittsburgh ended up playing against the Colts. I don't know if you saw the game, T, but that was one of the most. That game was sloppy. It was going back and forth. It had no organization to me at all. I thought also that the Colts had a great chance of winning it. They blew it in the last minute and some change. They made Pittsburgh a lot better than what they looked, but Pittsburgh ended up pulling it out. What's your take on Pittsburgh and what's your take on the Colts? Because Jeff Saturday seemed like he did make Colts play a lot better. Like the Colts had that game.
Well, it was a doodle bowl like I expected.
Yeah.
But any reason to have a drink, I'm going to be there for the movie, right? I don't care what nobody say. Forget the game. I thought Omar Epps had an Academy Award winning performance on the side. On the sideline, every time he got excited about a play or something, a couple of times, you know when somebody yell and the spit come out their mouth and the weather's already chilly and everything. That was the best part of the game to me. I already knew it was going to be a doodle bowl. I didn't really expect. Here's the thing. I know it's the NFL, but let's all be real. This time of year, we're winding down with the last few games to see who plays what in the playoffs. And when you look at, I don't even know why they do it, but if you look at TV, they have the two logos of the teams playing, and underneath in small parentheses, it says the record. So when you look and see 3-7, you know what I mean, and 4-6-1, you just kind of, your mental is like, does it matter what happens in this game?
Right.
So that was me all night. I thought it was just a back and forth doodle bowl, but I thought that if anything stood out was the coaching. You know, I love his passion, and I have nothing but the utmost belief that he'll have Pittsburgh bouncing back sooner than later.
Yeah, Fig, I think the problem is, I shouldn't say the problem. I think the thing is Pittsburgh was trying to continue to keep winning because mathematically they're not literally out of the playoffs just yet. So Mike Tomlin is looking at having his record shattered of 20 straight years of winning seasons right now. I think that's his issue. But like T said, it was a doodle bowl. That game was horrible, man. It was horrible. What's your take?
I just, you know, the relations of Tomlin and Omar Epps is just, it's uncanny, man. These guys being in the same family and doing what it is in their respective careers at such a high level is just amazing. And Kenny Pickett, man, this young quarterback, man, is really making his bones in Pittsburgh. He's growing up right in front of our eyes. Like when he first started, he was turning the ball over at a high clip. Now, I think the last few games, he hasn't had any turnovers. And you know, in this league, Frank, you cannot win if your quarterback isn't at least serviceable. And Kenny Pickett looked like he was doing this thing last night. I mean, it was an ugly game, but in Pittsburgh, we got a rookie quarterback, and then with the Colts, we got an interim rookie coach. We got a coach who's never coached before with the Colts, and on Pittsburgh, we got a quarterback who's never played in the NFL before. So, of course, the game was ugly, you know, because we had a bunch of people that really haven't, you know, made their bones in the NFL. So it was an ugly game, but I think both of them are headed in the right direction. Unfortunately, we don't know how good they're doing because they had to play each other.
Yeah. That's one definite way of looking at it. Mike, talk to me, man. Kenny Pickett did look like he is definitely the future of Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Whereas Matt Ryan looked like, to me, he's definitely coming towards the end of his career. You know what I mean? It looked like things are slowly going down the drain for him. That's the way I looked at it. How did you see it?
Well, I mean, Talent already basically broke everything down. You know how great this game was when Omar Epps got that much camera time. Like, you already knew, like, I mean, Jesus.
Right.
I was looking for Mekhi Phifer to pop up at some point. Like, I was like, that's what we're doing now. Let me tell you who I feel bad for. I hope they paid Troy Aikman and Joe Buck a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
They had to pay them a truckload of money for them guys to announce such an unimportant game. I don't even know what it's like to hear those two voices affiliated with such an unimportant game. Normally, they was the game of the week. They was America's game.
Yeah.
Now they got Jeff Saturday and the Colts against a struggling Steelers team. And hey, I give Jeff Saturday credit. That team came back. They didn't give up. They could have packed it up. They basically could have won that game. So I'm going to give the positives. Basically, Jeff Saturday, as much as he got critiqued and criticized, that team kept fighting.
Yep.
And in Mike Tomlinson's case, The man is a man that's going to keep trying to win no matter if they're out the playoffs. When they're officially eliminated, he's still going to make that team play hard. But the fact of the matter is the talent on both teams is limited, other than the Jonathan Taylors and the few standouts and everything like that. And Matt Ryan's 50. So, it goes without saying.
Frank, Buck and Aikman, man, by the end of the game, they was talking about what they was going to eat.
Yeah, they were. And you ain't joking. That's the truth. They were. Yeah, we're going to go across the street and we're going to do this and that. Yeah.
No, they reviewed a play and Troy Aikman said, "You got to be kidding me." When they threw the review flag, Troy Aikman, "Are you serious? We're going to review this. Just let this go."
I heard her playing on in the background. All right, T. All right. First of all, before I even throw it to T, the show you watch is called Box Seats on Humor Mill. Thank you all for watching and commentating. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you all for sharing it on your pages too. I saw a couple people doing that, and continue to do that. Thank you. We're trying to get the viewers to watch this show because we're getting ready in 2023. We getting ready to do this on a nice tour. I'm getting ready to lay this out. We'll talk about that more soon. T, got to talk about the Jets, bro. We didn't talk about the Jets yesterday because you weren't in the house and everything else.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's a certain reason why I wanted to bring it up and start with you, bro. Because this morning, Robert Saleh said Mike White's huge game hasn't altered the Jets' QB plan. The Jets defeated the Bears on Sunday, but Mike White and the Jets look like they facing the Vikings this Sunday. So I'm going to ask you, T, what are the plans? Are the plans to keep Mike White and have him play against the Vikings? Because, those boys look phenomenal against the Bears. And do you think they can keep it up against the Vikings this Sunday?
Well, here's the thing, man. They're saying it's day to day. So I guess it's coming down to how people are looking in practice and all that type of stuff. I know everybody was gung-ho on the whole Mike White bandwagon, like, oh, game over. It's over for, get rid of the other quarterback. I don't feel that way. I feel like he's getting his smack on the hand to act right and getting his warning. I don't think he's replaced. So I think that if worst case scenario, you give Mike a 2-game thing, you give him 2 games if that's how hard the smack on the wrist is going to be, or you go right back to your quarterback and if you think he's learned his lesson and come in there. This is the type of team the quarterback can't come in there with the Captain Saberho method. We don't need it. We don't need, this ain't the old Jets. Where you need, old Jets, you needed it. You went and got the Testaverdes. You got Brett Favre. You needed the Captain Sabo. This ain't that team. This team is built so crazy all around that we need you to complete a few passes, 200-yard game, but run that ball. I think you go back to the main quarterback and see if he learned his lesson.
The T, I know you're a Jets fan and I'm a Patriots fan, but I gotta say this, bro. If the Jets defeat the Vikings, your boy lost his job and Mike White got that job.
Yeah,
and it's to lose.
That's over.
If was a split, Frank, we all be fucked up.
I get it.
Understand this. You talking about a big if. You're talking about an if that we don't even know if Mike White's going to start this week.
But I'm saying, let's just say he starts. If he starts,
right,
and they win.
If Mike White starts, not just the win, forget the win because we plan on winning anyway, no matter who starts. It's not the win, Frank, it's how he plays. If he plays close to what he just did this past week, you probably got to kiss your ass goodbye at that point. But is the coach saying, here's the thing to look out for, even if whether he starts or not, is the coach saying, the one game is a smack on your hand, learn your lesson, act right, get in there, do what you got to do, or you're going to lose your job? Or is it a 2-game lesson? You got to wait till we get to that point to see if it's a 2-game lesson to say whether his job is gone or not. Me personally, I don't think it's fair after 1 game. But if that boy plays dope as he did too, the public opinion is going to overrule what I think.
Fig, let me ask you this, man. Do you agree with talent? Because at the end of the day, I think Robert Saleh has no choice but to play Mike White, or he's going to lose the entire locker room if he don't play Mike White.
Man, he going to lose the locker room, the fans, the front office, management.
Car keys.
He going to get his behind whipped if he don't start Mike White on Sunday, man. The way Mike White played Sunday, and you're not going to see this kid again? You listen, because of the way he played. If he put out a pedestrian, game on Sunday, then it'd be like, all right, you can go back to Zach. But the way he played, I mean, This kid looked like a young Brett Favre, a young Aaron Rodgers on Sunday, man. I mean, maybe it was a fluke, but you know what? You got to play him Sunday to find out. You can't let a kid play like that on Sunday and then send him back on the bench.
So
not if you want to keep a job.
If he wins on Sunday, fair to say the other dude lost his job,
man,
right?
If Mike White win on Sunday, he not only will win the job, he will set black quarterbacks back for years because his name is White.
Mike Sean, what's your take on this, bro? Because the Jets are the 7th seed, officially the 7th seed with that win. They literally are moving up. They're third in the AFC East. If they win and the Bills lose, they will probably swap places and end up being in the fifth or third spot if they win the game and the Bills lose on Thursday to the Patriots. You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on in play here. What's your take, Mike?
I don't like this iffy head coach the Jets have. How about you just say the guy who gives us the best chance to win is the one that's going to play? Like the old school head coaches said. Yeah. Whoever I think he won a game, it's his job to lose. Now, this whole him being a draft pick, look, Kurt Warner was a backup. Dak Prescott was third string. Tom Brady was a backup. Tyler Heineke, whatever his name is, was a backup. He's winning.
Tom Brady was fourth string, bro. But I get your point.
When a team starts winning, that's all this is about.
Right.
Like people say, well, we're gonna lose the quarterback. Well, if we lost the quarterback because he got replaced by somebody who played better than him, we never had him. Right. Because he's not built the way I wanted him to be built. Even Jalen Hurts had to sit behind Carson Wentz. And then they were like, you know what? We can't deal with Carson Wentz. Send him off, and we're gonna ride out with Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts knew this year was the year he had to show improve. It's not a fair situation. The NFL ain't fair. But if the kid keeps winning, what you got? What you gonna do? Are you really gonna risk your job to save Zach Wilson, to bring him in there and say we're gonna grow with him, and that rest of that team doesn't make the playoffs because he's the quarterback? Well, it might not even be because of him, but it'll be blamed on him. I stay with Mike White. Yeah, and if he bombs, you bring Zach Wilson back in and see where it goes from there.
Like I said, if Mike White plays and the Vikings win and Buffalo loses to the entire team is sick. They got some kind of thing. So there's a good chance they could lose. Man, the Jets will end up jumping into 5th or 4th slot in the playoff seeding, which means they'd be right out of the wild card. They'd have their first playoff home game. Home game. But now since we talk about football, we got to talk about the faker. I mean Aaron Rodgers, because it looked like he's set to start Sunday. You know what I mean? And I think he's faking, man. I don't care what nobody says. I think he faked that injury so he get out of there so he could line up saying, when I was injured, I hurt my hand. I think he's setting up all that. That's my thought process, man. But anyway, he's coming out right now saying that he looks like he wants to play on Sunday. So I don't know about you, T. I don't think he should play. I think they should let Jordan Love get his chance now. That's what I think. What's your take on this?
Well, I tell you got to let him play because we officially start shopping him right now. Mm-hmm. So you got to let him. People see that he's still viable. He's still top notch. Even when he walk away with the L, he just want to pad his numbers up because he's officially on the shopping block right now. So speaking about Mike White might be back up to Aaron Rodgers come next year.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And that's a fact. So, and Frank, as far as home game, we're going to get that. I already told you my Pelican brief is mess around and let the Jets fall into position where they get a bye. We're going to Super Bowl. Pelican brief that.
Okay. All right. I will.
That was aggressive.
I will top that Pelican brief with you and say, I don't know about the Super Bowl, but my Pelican brief is that Jimmy G is going to land up at the Jets next year, and Mike White will probably be his backup, and the other dude will be gone. That's my Pelican brief. I really see that. But Fig, what's your take on this Aaron Rodgers situation? Mr. $50 million a year saying he's getting ready to set to play. But everybody said, people sitting there saying, well, if you're injured, why push it? Let the boy play. Let Jordan Love play.
If Aaron Rodgers could go, I don't see how the Packers sit him out for Love because Love didn't look good in preseason. And unless Brett Favre can't go with all of the money they're paying him.
And Fig, Love don't live here anymore.
You know what I'm trying to tell you? Love got splinters. And gonna keep him if Brett Favre can go. Listen, the truth of the matter is the way
Brett Favre's not gonna go. I promise you, Brett
Favre, Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, Mike. I got Brett Favre on the brain because you know why I got Brett Favre on the brain? Because there's a pipeline between Green Bay and the Jets. And in my mind, it came to Brett Favre. So that's why when Talent said that Aaron Rodgers could end up on the Jets, that was in my mind. But anyway, back to what I was saying is that it's Aaron Rodgers' organization. Green Bay capitulated to everything that he asked for except for weapons. But as far as money, they paid him. You know what I mean? Whatever he asked for. And if he's healthy and can go and he says he wants to play, I don't know anybody in the organization that can keep him off the field.
No, yeah, if he wants to play, he's going to play. I guess the question is, Mike, is should he play? Because they're not going to – he's supposedly injured, and Jordan Love is sitting there trying to get some run. What's your take?
All right, me and Frank going to have a problem. I love media types who literally say NFL players faking an injury and never got hit by a 300-pounder 4 or 5 times in a game with a broken thumb. And now you want to sit here and say the guy was faking because he wanted to get out the game. But he wants to play this week. So that doesn't even correlate with what if what you're saying is right. Aaron Rodgers would have just been like, that's that. I'm out for the season. No, he's saying he wants to play this week. Mm-hmm. So I just find it, the Eagles were beating Aaron Rodgers up in that game. Like, try and do anything with a broken thumb and see how that works out for us. None of us, we won't even be able to hold the mic in that hand. We'd be like this the whole time or whatever. Like Aaron Rodgers, I know we don't like him. I know he's arrogant. I know what he is.
I love him.
But you got to give the man his due. He sat in there in a pass rush where they were killing him. And then he thought he may have had a punctured lung. You do know you can die from a punctured lung. You do know that. So he got taken off the field. Like, the question, this man's courage in football and his character when it comes to football, I think is a little disrespectful. I think he's proven enough.
I'm just gonna be. I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
But you got to be able to take away what you don't like about a person and not allow that.
Let me break down what you said. Yes,
you don't have to break it down. I broke it down. I already did it.
I'm gonna break down what you said.
I already did it. I was quite detailed.
I'm gonna break down what you said. Now with his thumb situation, and everything else, he got the X-rays and everything else. He said his thumb was broken 3-4 games ago. He still was able to play, so he played. So my thing is, we always talk about injured or hurt. If you gonna play, you gonna play. So that take that completely off the table.
But see, now you're gonna let me rebuttal all your points so I can dissect them, because you like to just run through stuff. Let's be clear. It's one thing to be hurt and you play hurt. It's another thing to be criticized for playing the worst games of your life and you don't get to defend yourself to say, dog, there's a reason why I can't throw a spiral right now.
If you can't play, don't play. If you can play, you're going to play. It's one way or simple. Either you're hurt or injured. So, I don't know. We can go back and forth with this because I could see I really could go back and forth. And I don't.
Frank, I'll say this: every football player at this point in the season,
exactly,
is hurt or injured.
Listen, I want to go on record and let y'all. I love Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
So, what's not to like? I'm here to judge a football player on his merit and skill. And he is one of the most skilled guys in the game at his position. To me, still the top 5 in the league. So, I mean, I love him. And if he falls over here next year to the Jets, believe me, I'll be the happiest football fan.
That's why you like him. I don't like him because of what happened with Devontae. I liked him before all that. I don't like him now because of the Devontae Adams situation and how that whole thing played out. I don't like none of that stuff what he did. I don't like
because he went and got his check.
Because he got his check so much, he forced out a great player as Devontae.
No, that ain't why. Frank.
And why I don't like him? You're gonna tell me why?
No, that's not what. No, that's not why Devontae Adams. Green Bay Packers matched the same amount of money
No, they didn't.
that he was going to get.
No, they did not.
That's not true.
That did not.
I thought Green Bay was going to pay Devontae Adams the same amount of money, but the reason. Let me finish. You shaking your head. Let me finish at least.
Yo, Big don't even want us to make any movement.
Like no. I'm just saying. I thought the reason that Devontae Adams left is because he was unsure how long Aaron Rodgers was going to play, and I thought that was the reason why he left, because the money from Las Vegas to Green Bay was equal.
Money, first of all, start number one, the money was not even close to being equal. Wasn't even close. The money that Aaron Rodgers took so much money from them. First of all, Green Bay has they don't have an upper management issue like most teams because they're not owned by one owner. They're owned by the city. That's number one. Number two, Green Bay was put in a horrible situation because Aaron Rodgers demanded. You remember he kept threatening to make a trade, and every time he kept doing that, they kept offering more money.
Wait a second.
See?
Wait a second.
Thanks, Mike.
And I'm going to be, because I don't like, if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. It says here, Devontae Adams was traded to the Raiders March 17th after 8 seasons with the Packers. The 5-year deal he signed with the new squad was $141 million. Later, it came out the Packers were willing to offer the star receiver the same amount or more in order to keep him. This was put out June 9th, 2022.
That's what I was saying.
By who?
SI.com. It's on SI.com.
Okay, I never heard that.
So I want to apologize to Fig.
I apologize to me too, just because I'm here.
No, but listen.
No, I'm not giving out random apologies. I apologize for the last comedy show I did for you. So I owe you an apology. I'm sorry.
Yo, I do remember hearing that Green Bay was going to pay him the same amount of money.
I remember that, but the bigger point is this: I could never take personal stock in somebody going to get their bag. We know how this league is negotiated. This league is negotiated by position, and if you think you're an elite top 3 or 4 players in that position, whoever get that big bag, you want to top that. You tell your team, I need to be the highest paid quarterback. I'm Aaron Rodgers, goddammit. That's this guy just got a bag. He ain't do nothing yet for his team. I'm Aaron Rodgers, and I'm still in the top shape of my game. I'm still putting them numbers up. So he got 200. What you gonna do for me? Then you'll go 225, 250. Then guess what? Then Watson or somebody else will come behind him and go, yo, I'm the dude they talking about right now. Make me the highest. That's how this game is negotiated. Yeah. So I would never take personal stock in that. That's all.
And tell it after winning back-to-back MVPs of the league. Yeah, but of course he was supposed to get paid that money.
The thing is, too, if Aaron Rodgers was going to demand that amount of money, like he did demand, they couldn't pay Aaron Rodgers that amount of money and Devontae Adams at both. Either way.
Right. Frank, you keep saying the same thing, even though all the reports say
I'm not saying the same thing. I'm saying the first thing I was saying was Aaron Rodgers demanded so much they couldn't afford him, and he wanted to go somewhere else to get that. But I'm saying now is that let's say Aaron Rodgers said, okay, yeah, I'll take that. The team could not physically pay Aaron Rodgers that $50 million and Devontae Adams. Either way, he was gone. It's two different things.
But they could have afforded Juju. They could have afforded Juju to give him another weapon. They could have made moves, but they intentionally said we're going to make him develop these young receivers who I think are going to wind up being really good receivers.
The other reason
the fact of the matter is, why do you pay a veteran that much money? That's Super Bowl money. So you got to put some veterans around him, not just Randall Cobb. You got to put some veteran receivers who actually have a skill set where they're a B or C level receiver. Because if you put a B level receiver with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to raise them up to a B plus. But they didn't do that.
Like they did in Tampa, like they did in San Francisco, like they did.
Like what Patrick Mahomes is doing right now. Patrick Mahomes is telling you Tyreek Hill is amazing and deserves his money, but I don't need him to be dope. If you give me some capable receivers, I'm that good.
Right. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, let's talk about the Chiefs rolling over the Rams because we didn't talk about that yesterday, man. And everybody right now is picking the Chiefs as the number 1 team to go to the Super Bowl team. And because the Bills have been losing, the Bills now fell to 5th, 6th, right now. So everybody's like, no, the Chiefs are the number one. So let me look at this right now. I'm gonna make it official. I'm gonna look at it right now and tell you.
I don't agree with that. I don't care who said it.
Officially, the Chiefs are the number one seed at 9-2 out of the AFC right now. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. The numbers are just numbers, Frank. Here's my thing. You got to watch these games. And when you watch these games and you see how a team competes, squeaking by ain't going to be that Super Bowl team. You got to definitively put these teams away. Too many games with the Chiefs this year, we're waiting on field goals and overtime. Can't do it. You got the team. I guarantee you there's teams out there with lesser records. But when they do win, they're putting people away. They're putting people out of the game. They're leading in sacks. They got all these stats in the right places. That's what it's going to take to actually go and to win the Super Bowl. I don't see the Chiefs right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe in the next 3-4 games, we start seeing the Chiefs of old, a few years ago. But right now, they're playing too many close games and squeakers. You know what I mean? And it's the AFC. I don't think they're my Super Bowl running team. I think Buffalo would have to lose a couple of games really bad for me to just cancel them out. Like you were just talking earlier, like where the Jets would be with a win and a Buffalo loss. Buffalo playing y'all, Negro. They're not losing.
I don't know what you talk about, T. I'm gonna be honest with you, because they looked like they was phenomenal to me when they played the Chargers. My man Rodney Perry's in the show too. RP, what's good with you, bro? How you doing?
Great. Eating some pineapple. Oh, turned the wrong way.
Say again?
He said he's eating pineapples and his phone was the wrong way.
Thank you for deciphering that.
Spend some time in Atlanta to understand what Rodney actually said.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Wait, what's your take on the Chiefs, man? Because the Chiefs look phenomenal against the Chargers to me, bro. Like,
hey, let me tell you something. They look phenomenal against the Chargers, but dig this. Let's find out who the Chiefs are playing next. They playing the Bengals, the Broncos, the Texans. They play the Seahawks. They play the Broncos again, and then they play the Raiders. That's the rest of their season.
That's 5 wins.
I expect the Chiefs to run the table.
Yeah,
these next games, I expect them to run the table.
Yeah,
I don't see any of these teams unless a tragedy of
the Raiders might beat them on a rivalry game.
Yep.
Yeah. You said what, Rodney?
The Raiders might beat them because they had a rivalry.
Yeah, they're rivals.
Listen, the Raiders have looked horrible. The only way I see the Raiders is the last game, and unless the Chiefs just take that game off, I don't see the Raiders beating them because the Raiders haven't looked that great all year long. Unfortunately, we a lot of us thought they were going to be amazing, but the Chiefs, man, I got them. I picked the Chiefs in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
I thought Patrick Mahomes, once he got acclimated with his new receivers, I thought that he would be.
What was that little hand motion you just did? What was that?
I thought, I was just trying to just talking with my hand. I felt as soon as he got acclimated with his new receiving core and they developed a chemistry that they would be just fine. And I think what I called it is addition by subtraction. Like you lost Travis Kelce. I mean, not Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill. You lost Tyreek Hill, but you got a bunch of other people to replace Tyreek Hill. Now, instead of keying in on Tyreek Hill, you got to watch all these other players, including probably the best tight end playing in football right now, which is Travis Kelce. I see the Chiefs being that juggernaut.
Mike Sean, what's your take?
I understand why people are picking the Chiefs, and selfishly, I would love to see the Chiefs in Miami play in the AFC Championship game and watch that video game pop off between those two teams.
Wow, yes.
But unfortunately, I think the Bengals are the Kansas City Chiefs kryptonite. And the Bengals showed when they had Tyreek Hill that their defense knew how to fluster Patrick Mahomes. Now things change. I think Kansas City, the Bengals are playing awesome. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Kansas City got to go to Cincinnati, Joe Burrows, and them boys. I just think it'll wind up being Kansas City and the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game again. But I understand why Kansas City is favored. Patrick Mahomes is having an historical season. The man is topping himself. Like he's having a better season he's ever had in his life. And for some reason, people aren't paying close attention to what he's doing. And I don't know why. I don't know why everybody's just like, we're bored. We've seen you do a 360 and throw a 60-yard touchdown pass. We're bored. We need you to jump on the free throw line.
But it's because of the reason I just said, Mike. They're playing teams that, as Kansas City as we've known them, they're playing teams that they would have blown out 3-4 touchdowns, no problem. They're playing a broken up Rams team, broke all the way up. Rams are tore up from the floor right now. And then for 3 quarters, we watched this as a competitive game. That's not the Super Bowl team, bro. Sorry. You got to play better than that.
Most of the league.
But my point is games like that people will overlook how superb this dude's season is. Just because of games like that.
But that is what prepares you for the playoffs. Those close games are what prepare you for the playoffs. That's my pushback on that. And I don't. The whole league is playing close games.
All right, Rodney, what's your
take? Buffalo Bills, every game they played has been a close game.
Well, this reminds me of just to hear you guys debate this subject is really interesting to me. So I used to work at a strip club many years ago as a young lady. She was the fantastic dancer. And as she began to age, there was some question if she could still get the job done. And she was still doing the pole work. She was still great on the floor. And you always knew that she was going to get it done. I think you can rely on that the Kansas City Chiefs just like you can rely on old Symphony. And she was great, man. I spent so much money. Anyway,
down there in the back where the girls get naked.
I say all that to say this.
I say all that to say this.
Buffalo Bills, while a great team, they find a way to lose.
Okay.
Cincinnati, while a great team, they find a way. Some cities are losers.
Went to the Super Bowl.
They did. What did they do there?
So you saying, yeah? So you're gonna add Chicago in that group, right? Some cities are losers.
No, Chicago is not a loser city.
No, I'm saying in football. In
football, they're not a loser city. Cincinnati is. Buffalo is. So
watch your
Dallas
mouth.
Is not a losing city.
In football, they're not a losing city.
Not at all.
How many Super Bowls you been to?
We've been to one. How many Buffalo been to? And
well, they've been to
4.
And 1.
Well, they've been there.
Mike Sean, it's not your turn.
You should have stuck to the stripper. You should have stayed on the stripper story.
No.
Yeah, let's get back to Symphony. I like the Symphony story.
He feels like he's right, but he's not.
Hilarious.
All right, let's talk about the NBA, man. I'm going to throw it to you, T, because the Lakers made news last night, man. The Lakers blew a 17-point lead to the Indiana Pacers, man. They were up by 17 with 10 minutes left to go in the game, and they took their foot off the pedal. And I heard somebody, I think it was, I forgot the guy's name. He said this morning, he said they took their foot off the pedal and they were standing around. Meanwhile, the Pacers ended up playing. They kept playing, and they played themselves back into the game and ended up with a game-winning shot at the buzzer, man. Backbreaking for the Lakers, or what's your take on this, T?
Man, I'm gonna sign a petition that we just stop talking about the Lakers. There's so many other teams doing things. Did you know that Memphis got a new water boy?
Yeah, and the Pacers are doing really good. Yeah. Let's talk about the Pacers.
Pacers. Here's the thing: the teams that were what we would probably say mediocre, especially in Eastern Conference last year, they're balling. Mm-hmm. They're balling. I'm looking at the Indianas. We used to call the Wizards bumps. They're balling them. They're out there being competitive. So we watched the flip-flop. We watched the top 5 kind of mix at the top bottom of the 10. And we watched the lower guys, the mediocrity, come up and rise to the top. And it's nothing but cohesive units. Ain't no superstars. I know Fig always think you need a superstar. Ain't no superstar. These are units playing like units. When you play like a unit and you get the results at the end of the day and those wins are racked up, this is where people start to talk about the potential of where you're going to be in the playoffs, if not the championship. How far are you going to go? We just finished talking about this in the NFL. You know what I mean? And when you have these certain games, my thing is there's a reason why at the start of the season for the NFL, people pointed to Buffalo. because they opened up the season blowing people out by 40 points. That's a dominant team. So when you transfer that to the NBA and you look at a team like the Lakers, who has been in the news past 20 whatever games on what's going to happen with the Lakers. Oh my God, they're losing, blah, blah, blah. Then guess what happened after about 7 losses? They got a glimmer of light that looked like they were going to be competitive. Oh boy comes back healthy. AD's putting up some high scoring games, some good stats and numbers. And then LeBron goes out with a pinky toenail, right? So now these other players get a chance to play. other players get a chance to come out and prove who they are. And they got hope. LA had hope for a minute. But how many times in the last 5 or 6 hope games, you watch them let the team get right back in it? And if they squeak it out, that's as close win as they got, or it happens like what just happened. These guys come all the way back and snatch the victory. Like, I think the Lakers need, I said it before, I say it again. I'm sticking to this. Sorry, Rodney. It's rebuild time.
All right, okay, Fig. My man Russell Westbrook had one of his best games in a Laker uniform last night, though. He balled out. So he did his thing right now. So people are sitting there saying maybe they're being able to put some stuff together, and the Lakers maybe, even though they're trying to take some positives out of that. You see any positives coming out of that Lakers blowing the 17-point lead to the Pacers?
No, because the Lakers are a veteran team with stars, and the Pacers are a young up-and-coming team, and they was not supposed to lose that game. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they, you take your foot off the gas, but that's not something that you would expect that would happen with a LeBron James, Anthony Davis, or Russell Westbrook led team. You don't expect them to take their foot off the gas to the point where they lose a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's not indicative of championship basketball. What I said yesterday, I'm going to say it again. The Lakers are going to win some games during the regular season, but when it comes to the playoff situation where you got to start playing those back-to-back games every other day, I don't see them being able to do it. I just don't see them being able to keep up that same, like Taylor said earlier, keep that same energy. I think that's going to be difficult.
Mike, Sean, what do you, if you were to look at this game outside looking in like we're looking at it right now and everything else, do you see any positives from that game last night? And talk to me a little bit about the Pacers. Tell me what you think about the Pacers too.
I think the Pacers have Rick Carlisle has those guys focused. He's got the young players that he wants, and he's taking them in the right direction, just like the Wizards are going in the right direction. And Porzingis is all of a sudden looking like the old Porzingis, dropping 41. Blowing a 17-point lead, I don't understand why we're making such a big deal out of this. Teams are blowing 20-point leads in the NBA in the fourth quarter. Like, when teams go on run, when they go on runs in the NBA, it just happens and it goes on a run. Now, what they didn't do is they stopped giving the ball to Anthony Davis, which I didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand why all of a sudden you wanted to just set the play up and not just run what you were running for Anthony Davis early in the game. For 3 quarters, he was doing what you wanted him to do, was hit 10-foot jumpers, rebound, defend the rim, and you went away from that. And that's a coach's decision, and maybe you can't tell LeBron what to do. I don't know. The Lakers are the Lakers. The Lakers are going to make the playoffs. They're going to have their shot, and we'll see what happens. I just, everybody emphasizing the 17-point lead. People blow 17-point leads in this league all the time.
The Lakers do at home. I think that's
it happens all the time at home. And as a Knicks fan, I've seen it happen in New York a gang of times at the Garden.
But it's not. I think the whole point of the story, why everybody keeps bringing it up, is because it's not usual for you to see it in Los Angeles. I think that's
what Laker team have you been watching the last 3 years?
Because they suck.
Like, we've been watching the Lakers blow leads for 3 years.
People are not used to watching the Lakers do that at home.
Right.
Normal team that it doesn't happen. It normally doesn't happen for the Lakers at home. People are still used to them. The way they're losing right now to BT is losing all kind of ways. You know what I mean?
They have to get used to this new culture until this team gets revamped. This is the new LA culture. This is the new LeBron culture, right?
Right. So T. Joel Embiid came back last night. He dropped 30, and the Sixers ended up winning.
Whoa, you never went to Rodney, Frank.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry, Rodney. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rodney. Tell me about your thoughts.
Cruel man.
I said sorry. Damn.
It's all good, man. No, I think the Lakers are in the rebuilding phase that everybody has talked about. They started the season off very shaky. You guys are already put them out the pasture. And now you're talking about them like Mike Sean was saying, like they've been winning these games. They've been losing. You know, are they getting better? Yes. I like Schroeder back in the uniform. I like what they're doing to even have a lead. That means they played a great third quarter, but they have lapses. They had lapses last season, and they have lapses this season. Anything less than a 25-point lead is not insurmountable in the NBA, and you can't take any minutes off. And the Lakers, contrary to what my colleagues would say, are still a formidable team. There's a reason why they play on Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays. Whenever a game of NBA is played, there's a Laker game being televised. Ain't nobody watching no damn Pacers.
Yeah, well, and not unless they playing the Lakers.
I wouldn't be putting no money on no Pacers, I bet that.
No, me neither.
All right, so T, like I was saying before, I overlooked Rodney, which I didn't mean to do, is Joel Embiid dropped 30 points. The 76ers are on the roll. They rolled over Atlanta Hawks 105-101. And now the talk is that since Joel Embiid is back and putting up, because he was putting up these kind of numbers before he got hurt, he might help the Sixers turn things around. What's your thoughts on the Sixers winning and turn things around with Joel Embiid putting up some monster numbers?
It's 30 points.
Oh God. Oh my God.
You know, when I see a news flash, somebody put up 50, 60 points, that's monster numbers. This is 30 points from Joel Embiid. With I'm more impressed with 7 assists, and he needs more rebounds. Too big to have 8 rebounds. Should be in double digits right there. He is who we know he is to be, right? One thing about Embiid, where like you talk about top echelon players, Embiid hasn't really gotten better. He's just been good. He's just been really good consistently straight through. He's not developing anything else. He's giving you this consistently, barring injury and missing games. He's going to give you this consistently. Sixers are going to be in the conversation. I don't think anybody on this panel has went against that thought process and like put them to the back burner. I think we expect to see the Sixers, the Celtics, certain usual suspects are going to be teams to beat in the East. And I think the Sixers are still going to be there. So as long as he's consistent and doing these numbers that he's doing, I think they're going to be in the conversation. Sixers look good, man. I mean, they look like they're going to compete. You know, like I told you, we finally reached that 20-game point where we can really give a good assessment of these teams. So I think they're going to be good.
Okay. Fig, what's your take?
I mean, it was cool to see Joel Embiid come back and do well after being off for so long. The thing is that it's like the same thing that we said about the Lakers. The 76ers are very inconsistent, and you never know what kind of play you're going to get out of them. The stars are injury prone, and then you have the others that play consistent basketball when the others aren't there. And the thing is that if Joel Embiid needs to drop these amount of points in order for the Sixers to be relevant, then they're going to be in trouble, because that's not something that he does on a consistent basis. Like he'll be in and out of the lineup all year long. James Harden will be in and out of the lineup all year long. You can't count on it. Unfortunately, you can't count on these guys to be staples of your franchise. And I think they'll win some games because, you know, Joel Embiid is a tough out. He's hard to guard when he plays. But if you're expecting him to be able to do this, to carry this team that they have presently constructed now to be able to win something significant, I don't see it happening.
Mike Sean, Joel Embiid look like he's playing for another team, trying to get a new contract and those monster numbers coming up in there. Mike, what's your take?
Dog, I hate the Sixers. That's why I hate having to defend them over having to defend Joel Embiid. When Joel Embiid scored 56 points and had 13 rebounds, 7 blocks, and did Wilt Chamberlain numbers, that wasn't good enough. That was just an anomaly. Now when he scores 30 points a game and is in the MVP running every single season, he needs to improve. Improve on what? What's he supposed to improve on? The man's in the MVP conversation every year. I hate the Sixers. I can't stand the Sixers. But the blessing in disguise, and Doc Rivers better pay attention. Those guys that you don't give minutes to helped you go on a streak where y'all were beating quality teams.
Yeah.
So now you know your roster is deeper than what you claimed it is. Doc Rivers, can you please use these guys? Can you please? If I'm a Sixer fan, I'm like, can you please use these guys who you were playing without Maxey and Embiid, and you still blew out Brooklyn and a few other quality teams. I'm worried that if Doc Rivers actually takes heed to this, that this Sixer team could be deeper than what we thought they were.
Yeah. Doc Rivers is on the hot seat soon, I think. Rodney Perry, what's your take on Joel Embiid doing these monster numbers?
I know we're coming down the home stretch. Here goes, man. Joel Embiid is really good. I mean, the guy does so many things really well. And as you see him, but this is where I think a lot of our current leaders of the NBA lack the wherewithal, the fortitude, is that you got to be a leader of men. I mean, we look to Doc Rivers to lead this team, but this team has to be led by Joel Embiid. And as long as it's not led, he can stuff the box with all his numbers, and they still won't win.
All right, on that note, we're going to have to get ready to wrap this up. And before we go, I just want to make sure that you guys hear this last story blurb. I read last night on, I think it was MLB.com. I read that Aaron Judge looked like he's close to signing with the Giants, man. So, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but it looked like, Aaron Judge is going to probably leave the New York Yankees, which we all know would be one of monster news, items. And Jose Ibre signed with the Houston Astros when people didn't expect him to go to Houston Astros either. That was huge news too for them. And Justin Verlander looked like he's going to sign with the LA Dodgers. News is still coming out from that. And that's our baseball news. We'll figure that all out very soon because Verlander right now is taking a huge meeting with LA Dodgers, and people want to see how that goes. But anyway, the show's called Box Seats. T, everybody out there, how they can follow you, bro?
Yo, you can follow me on Instagram, Talent the Comedian. Follow me because this weekend is going to be epic out there in Boston on the 4th Sunday. Get your peoples together. Come on, New England. Everybody up in the area. Come on out, get your laughs, man. We up there putting it down. Frank got the super duper show with Smokey Suarez, yours truly, Talent. Laugh Boston inside the Westin Hotel. See you there.
Beautiful room, too. Beautiful room.
Yeah, and Fig, talk to me. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
At Comedian Fig, all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Box Seats, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Best damn sports show on TV. That's your mama.
Mike, tell everybody how they can follow you, bro.
Follow me at Frank didn't have to save that bad baseball news to the end. That really depressed me, man.
What part? What did I say to depress you?
The Aaron Judge, even though I'm going to the Giants, yo.
It's not a done deal. It's not a done deal. I just had to say it because
I know you had to report it. Follow me at Mike Sean Comedy. Wake up tomorrow morning. Media Room 360 on all social media platforms. The morning show, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. on the East Coast. I don't know what it is on the West Coast. Numbers ain't my thing. So Central and East Coast, rock with us. Michael Sean and the Takeover Legends in the morning. Check us out.
4 a.m., Mike.
4 a.m. 4 a.m. So if you're doing heroin, 4 a.m. right there.
Mike, I think the biggest news is Jose Ibre signing. I think that's the biggest news. Rodney Perry, talk to me. Tell everybody how they can
Hey, Rodney Perry live on all social media, man. I'm on Media 360 as well. My show comes on right after Mike Sean, and I get a chance to watch Mike Sean's show. It's a phenomenal show. If you don't worry about what I'm doing. Check out Mike Sean every day. He's a fool.
I appreciate you, Rodney.
Yeah, I be tuning in.
And Rodney kills it. Rodney kills it.
Y'all have some great energy first thing in the morning. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all got some great energy first thing. It's some powerful energy. Y'all and Michael Collier, y'all have some. I don't know how y'all do it that early.
Michael Collier's got a great show too.
Yeah,
and so does Joe Claire.
Yeah, shout to Joe Cleasy. Yeah, he does have a dope show.
I didn't think he was still doing his morning show. Okay,
he just started it back up. He's actually on in another market too. He's making some headway. Good job.
Yeah, he's at the Stop and Shop in the supermarket. That's the market he's making.
I just crossed my 100 show.
Oh, there it
So
is.
congratulations, yo.
And the Knicks win tonight.
All right, y'all. We get ready to roll up out of here. The show's called Box Seats. Me on 3 times a day. Comes on again 7 and 11. We thank you all for watching. Thank you all for telling a friend to tell a friend. We are going to be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. T, I don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow, right? You going to be here tomorrow, T?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
All right, so we'll see everybody.
I got
here
a movie.
tomorrow.
I'll be working on the film set tomorrow, gentlemen.
Well, okay. Stun on him, homie. Stun on him.
That's Steve, that's Greg, that's Mike, that's Roger Perry stunting right there. Y'all see it. Y'all know the name of the show. The show's called Box Seats. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. Peace.